Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us today in another interview through Latinx Chats. Today, I'm going to be interviewing Paty Villegas, who is an entrepreneur and a career coach. And so I'm excited to have her join us today and get this conversation started. So I'm really excited to share her story. So here we go. Thank you all so much for joining. Patty!
Hi, Jenny. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, I'm so excited today to have you join us and share your story and also share all your expertise in regards to just career experiences and how to navigate kind of just that process. So, thank you again so much for wanting to collaborate and share your expertise with all of us today.
Of course. No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So why don't we just dive into it? So, who is Patty? Where are you from? Where's your family from? Kind of that stuff.
Of course. So my name is Paty Villegas, and I'm from San Jose, East San Jose, California. My family's from El Limón y Aguila, Michoacan, Mexico. So I
Whoop
was
whoop.
born here. Yeah, are you from Michoacan too?
No, my parents are from Jalisco, but Mexican.
Oh, got it. Awesome. And so I grew up in East San Jose, and then I went to college at Evergreen Valley College, and then I transferred to San Jose State and got my bachelor's in social work, and then I got my master's in social work from USC.
Awesome. Yeah. And so, why don't we dive into kind of a little bit of your story? How was it for you growing up in San Jose area as a Latina? Was it kind of easy on that end to be able to like showcase your traditions, your culture? How was that for you as a Latina and growing up there?
Growing up in East San Jose, I actually grew up around a lot of Latinos, and so I was very comfortable showcasing my culture around here. However, when I went to Long Beach State for one semester, I did experience a lot of imposter syndrome actually, because I was living in the dorms with nothing but Caucasian Brazilian students, and
Mm.
that was a little shift for me. But in regards to my community, I definitely always showcase my Latino community because we lived around nothing but Latinos.
That's so awesome. I feel like Cali, we definitely have that. Like we can definitely showcase like who we are and feel part of that and embrace that. Whereas not a lot of other states can possibly have that kind of culture. So that's really awesome. So happy to hear that. And so for you in regards to your education, and then we'll dive into kind of your career and your business, but in regards to your education journey, like how was that for you as a Latina? Were you first generation? What was that like for you going into college, pursuing your bachelor's and then master's? So what was that for you?
So the only reason why I went to college, Jenny, was because my mom, she threatened me and she said, if you don't go to college, you're gonna pay me rent. And I said,
Oh my
I don't want to pay you rent. I just got my first job at the mall. And I was like, why am I going to have to pay you rent? She's like, you need to pay me rent. If you don't go to college, you can't be living here for free if you're not going to college. And I said, I'm going to college. I had no intentions of actually going to college and finishing it because I just really did it because my mom kind of pushed me there.
God.
And for me, college was very difficult. I didn't understand the college curriculum and I didn't know how to do college because in high school, I rarely did the bare minimum. So when I went to college, I was kind of stuck with this rigorous curriculum that I could not keep up with. And so it was very challenging for me because I didn't have academic support. I had to balance work. I had to balance being a college student and really navigating what I wanted to become. On top of that, I had no role models to really guide me. I was first generation. So that means I'm the first person in my family to go to college. There's no cousin, there's no auntie that I could ask. It was really solely just me. So it was very challenging. Oftentimes I felt confused, lost, scared because I was not sure what I wanted to become. And every decision that I made it with no career guidance. I was like, oh, I think I want this class. I think I want to major in this. And it was really just you know, out of luck, I feel like I got a degree that I really loved. But it definitely shouldn't have felt that way.
Hmm. I can definitely relate to as a first generation Latina as well going through college. First, I went to a community college and then I transferred out to a state school here in Southern California. But honestly, yeah, I felt like throughout the process, it's always been kind of like, who do we go to for guidance? Who's there to provide us like with resources? And because during high school, at least for me, I felt like I didn't have that guidance at all to the person that's supposed to give me that guidance. You know, my counselor wasn't definitely not that helpful. So I felt like a lot of the times I was finding myself just navigating these spaces on my own and trying to figure it out in a sense. And like you said, I didn't have really a lot of just peers around me that I can go to and be like, hey, how do I go about this?
Right.
So
And
it
the funny
definitely,
thing is, I'll tell you, Jenny, when I had to choose my actual major,
uh-huh.
I remember just looking at all these different options, right? Criminal justice, psychology, engineering. And I looked at the counselor and I said, hi. And then she's like, hi, a random counselor that walked by. And then I'm like, I have a
Mm.
question. She's like, yes. She's like, I'm like, I have to choose a major. What do I choose? She's like, maybe you should choose social work because you like to work with people. Cause she knew me already very briefly because I would go to some of her workshops. And then I
Mm-hmm.
chose social work because she recommended it. But what if she wasn't there? Right? What if she
Mm-hmm.
was not there to just recommend that? Luckily, I loved social work. I'm in a field where I ended up loving, but man, it was a really tough cookie to swallow because technically I wasn't really, what if she wasn't there? What would I chosen, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of times in college, you kind of are prone to first figuring out, okay, like what classes do I need, right? And then once you're diving into that and having to essentially declare a major, it's so hard, honestly, to sometimes pinpoint, like, oh my God, this is my path, and this is definitely what's going to lead me to a career that I'm going to be really satisfied with for the rest of my life, right? It's such a tough decision to make at such an early age sometimes. And sometimes it's also not the career path that you end up in anyway after graduation. So it's just a lot of like just this struggle of figuring out what's really going to be my ending goal or my path. And whether it's the correct one or not, right? And I know that a lot of people tend to navigate different career paths, and that's awesome. But I feel like in college, sometimes there's definitely that lack of just guidance throughout, sometimes from advisors telling you, hey, these are your options if you choose this career, right? Like, I feel
Right.
like I don't know, there is definitely kind of that lack.
Definitely. And I think for a majority of us, first generation, we don't know our options. So every decision that we make, we could easily make a mistake and it could track us
Mm-hmm.
back, wasting time, wasting money. I could go on and on about how many students either majored in the wrong degree or they were unhappy or unsatisfied after they finished college.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And so, in regards to just pursuing your social work degrees, both in your bachelor's and master's, like how did you always kind of knew, or did you ever second doubt, like, oh my God, is this really my career choice, and I'm gonna go for this full on, or was there any given time where you were like, did I really decide this, and like, am I like sure that I actually want to do this type of like career for the rest of my life? Did you ever have that?
Well, initially my major was sociology and I
Mm-hmm.
moved to Long Beach for one semester and I was really unhappy with that degree. I was having a difficult time doing the homework assignments. It was a lot of theory, learning about people. The major itself bored me, I'll be honest with you. I didn't enjoy
Yeah.
it. And I was like very close of just dropping out of college because I chose sociology again with the blink of an eye. Oh, maybe this will work for me, right? But then I
Yeah.
got accepted to social work and I came back to San Jose to finish social work. And that did allow me and flourish, enlighten something in me that I knew it was for me because then the first class that I took, it was intro to social work and it was about advocating for people, helping people, counseling. And I was like, oh, okay, I think I could do this. But definitely there was many times where I doubted my ability of succeeding because it was just something that I did not enjoy at first.
Yeah. And throughout your process whether it was undergrad or after graduate school, who were kind of like your mentors or those people that you would go to? Were they essentially like your professors or your peers that would kind of help you and push you and kind of keep you accountable throughout your process as a college student, and kind of that whole like just journey in general? Like, who was that kind of mentor or person that kind of helped you through that process?
Um, to be honest with you, I don't recall someone very consistent in my life that was
Mm-hmm.
a mentor and helped me in the process of college. But I do recall key team players to me believing that I could do it. I'll be okay. So a quick little story. When I got accepted to my bachelor's degree, my mom actually saw me crying because I was excited and I was happy.
Oh.
And I told her the reason, and she said, "That's why, por eso lloras? That's why you're crying?" Like if it was no big deal. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember just looking at her like, I worked so hard to get accepted. And I remember there was one professor who I told that I got accepted, and she just opened her arms to me and she said, "Come here." And then I was like, what is she doing? Is she hugging me? Because my mom doesn't give me that affection, right? So I was like, and I hugged her and I was so happy that she was giving me that support. So there were team players in my education when I was getting my education that supported me, but I don't believe, I can't go back and say that person was there 100%. It was more a few people that believed in me, and then I
Mm-hmm.
kind of went with that energy, and it was helpful for me in my journey of completing college.
Yeah, that's so key. Honestly, a lot of the times those tend to be kind of like the people that motivate you and influence you to keep pushing and to not give up sometimes, you know? So a lot of those people tend to, for some odd reason, just be kind of in your path and in your journey, essentially kind of guiding you some way or another for maybe a short period of time or a long period of time, whether it's one class or whatever it is. But it's so awesome that a lot of the times it's these people that kind of come in and out, but essentially give you some sort of purpose, right?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. And so let's talk a little bit about kind of how it was for you as a professional working in social work. I know that eventually you were able to be provided the opportunity to work for the county, right, as a social work. So I don't know if you want to share a little bit of kind of that passion and that journey, and what was that for you?
Of course. So, social work is an amazing, amazing degree. I believe it opens many doors for you. So it allows you to advocate for the most vulnerable populations. It helps you
Mm-hmm.
work with children, youth, families, veterans, high risk youth, people all over the country. And your number one job is to provide resources, provide advocacy, fight for social justice. And so social work is really a degree that allows you to pursue many career pathways, which is why I love the social work degree in general, because it
Mm-hmm.
provides a lot of opportunity for growth and flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
I was a social worker at the Santa Clara County before I launched my consulting business. And, it was an amazing experience. I was working with high risk youth who did not, it was called a family finding program. And so my job was to actually find their families, whether Facebook or going to their homes, looking up their addresses. And I was kind of like an investigator for them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very powerful. But I was also before that a school counselor. And then I was a college professor. So there's so many ways that you could go with social work. It's not just social work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's something really important to note, that finding your true passion sometimes looks different for so many people, right? I think that it's not this like one size all for every career. Like, for example, if you were to major in communications, you can open up a lot of opportunities within that given degree or that given career. So I think to truly kind of share that idea that folks essentially can dive into so many different avenues with whichever career they want to go for, and know that there is a possibility. As long as you can kind of see that, you can definitely tap into all kinds of opportunities. That I think it would be nice to kind of both of us like highlight kind of what that how people can possibly look into that and think about that, and not feel like if I'm only doing this specific degree or major, it's because this is the only path that I'm able to go to, right? Like if there's a passion for it and you're able to tap into different avenues, if it's really broad, then definitely know that you are not stuck into one specific path.
I love that. And I think there's a misconception that if I graduate with this specific degree, there's one way, one company I could work for. And
Mm-hmm.
realistically, one degree will open hundreds of opportunities for you elsewhere. Look, if you think about a car, Jenny, a car
Mm-hmm.
needs a marketing team. They need a people team. They need a customer service team. They need a sales team. So technically, one degree, you could go to either one of those departments depending on what you want to do. But it's about you just really understanding what your true talents are and what do you love, and then going
Mm-hmm.
into the company and saying, hey, this is what I do, this is my experience, and going after it.
For sure, I agree 100%. And some folks on here on the chat are also like, "Si se puede." I agree. So that's awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in. So, Paty, share with us a little bit of how it was for you, kind of transitioning from being a social worker in accounting, being a college professor, to then essentially tapping into having your own consulting business and wanting to help folks with their career paths, right? So, how did that whole journey start for you?
So the journey that started my own consulting, specifically in career coaching, I
Mm-hmm.
had the opportunity to become a career development instructor at Evergreen Valley College, where I was teaching career planning. And
Mm-hmm.
something just lit in my heart when I was in front of the classes and teaching them about resumes and cover letters and how to interview. It was so much fun. I was looking forward to my classes all the time. And I'm like, man, I really want to be able to take this to the next level. So I started investigating a little bit more what it took to make it an actual business. And I got hungry, right? Like I got hunger for more. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
working at the county. I'm a college instructor, and I'm like, wait a minute. How is life supposed to be this way? Am I really supposed to work a 9 to 5 and then retire in 20 years and then I'm going to die and then that's it? Or is there a bigger purpose for the work that I do? Is there a broader audience that I could serve? And so
Mm-hmm.
I knew doing a consulting business will allow me to travel, will allow me to work with different group of people and have flexibility and really manage my own sort of income, because when you have your own business, you decide what you charge, you decide your worth. And so I started looking into creating a consulting business. And as I created a consulting business, I just really just focused on what I truly loved. I loved working with people. I loved helping students. I loved teaching this topic. And then I started just advertising myself as that. And I've been very blessed to have had locked down some contracts with organizations. And now I'm just a full-time entrepreneur.
That's so awesome, honestly. And to have that leap of faith to be like, I'm capable of doing this. I have a lot of expertise. I can help a lot of folks, be able to give back in a way and find their true purpose, and you be able to kind of guide them and mentor them through that process. I feel like that's huge, right? Like, not a lot of people tend to have kind of that coaching or that guidance necessarily. And they go through all these processes to try to figure out like, where's life leading me, what's the best career path. And so having someone like you, I feel like definitely helps folks to understand in a sense, like, where should I put my effort? Where am I good at? And how should I go about seeing what my passions are in life and then putting that into work?
Right. And I think what's key here, Jenny, is that you have to do and be willing to do self-reflection upon who you are. I think what really pivot my mindset is understanding what was important to me. And I wrote this down. I have my notebook. I still have it, where I wrote down, who do I truly want to help? what do I really want to do and what do I vision myself doing in 5 years? And then once I put it on paper, I took flight because I was sure that's what I wanted. It was not just
Mm-hmm.
me having a conversation with people. It was me having self time to myself and understanding what does Paty need? What does Paty want? What does Paty what can Paty do? Not what my mom wants me to do, not what I was
Yeah.
told I was supposed to do. Because we're all sold a narrative at one point in our life. For me, it was go to college, get a degree, get a good job, buy the house, get married, become a mom.
Yeah.
Uh, at what point did I hear follow your dreams, you're capable of the universe, right?
Yeah.
And so I had to kind of just pivot to a mindset where, maybe I am 20 years old. At this point, especially if you're Latina, you're expected to have a kid or two, maybe five. It's normal
Yeah.
in our culture.
Yeah.
But I said, well, I'm not in that stage. I'm not in that stage where I could bring a child to this world, but what can I bring to the world in general? What kind of
Mm-hmm.
skills and value can I bring when working with people? And I just found great love in career coaching.
That's so awesome. And what would you say in regards to kind of your mentoring or your coaching? At what point do you feel like people should seek this type of mentoring and coaching? Like, at what point in their career path should they start looking for a coach, essentially?
I feel like when someone should seek a career coach, you are in a place where you want to advance in your career. You want to gain
Mm-hmm.
clarity as to what are the next steps. Oftentimes, we have multiple opportunities and programs in front of us, and we're like, I think I'm going to go do this because it's going to take me 9 months and then I'm going to make this much money, or I'm going to apply for that job because it's available. My friend works there. I think when you're ready to find an actual career that aligns with your values, your attributes, and who you are, and you're ready to take and invest in yourself, then get a career coach. A lot of times, too, when people don't invest in professional development, don't invest in coaching, and what that tends to happen is when you lack that sense, or not that sense, but when you don't invest in your knowledge and
Mm-hmm.
growing, it's very hard for you to go to the next level. I invested and I'm still investing in multiple coaching programs. I just bought
Mm-hmm.
a 2,500 program because I wanted my consulting business to go to the next level. You have to
Mm-hmm.
be willing to invest. So a career coach will help you not only with advancing, but getting a career action plan ready for you. Are you happy in your career? And if not, what are the next steps and what are the steps you need to take?
Yeah, no, for sure. Thank you for
We
sharing that. I
have,
think that's so valuable. What was
yeah, we
that?
have a comment that says the next level requires you a new you.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it starts with you as an individual understanding kind of what is it that you need and whether you're willing to invest in yourself, right? So like you're saying, it's very important to, and this goes for a lot of things, whether it's financial coaching, whether it's life coaching, whether it's career coaching. At the end of the day, what are you willing to invest in your own self, right? To essentially better yourself in so many different aspects. So at the end of the day, it's really up to the individual to decide when that time is, right, to request for such services or mentoring or coaching.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so in regards to your career coaching services, what can people essentially like expect? What kinds of, I know that you have some sort of like academy programming of some sort. So can you maybe share with us a little bit of what you offer and in regards to services if people were to be wanting to reach out and work with you?
Of course. So I do offer one-to-one coaching and a group coaching called Career with Purpose Academy. And what
Mm-hmm.
Career with Purpose Academy is really tailored to investigating and really doing some self-exploration as to who you are as a person. The first portion of the part of my program is really just understanding what do you want to do, what do you want to achieve, and what's your mindset like. The foundation of anything that you achieve in life has to start in the mindset. If we don't invest in ourselves, we cannot unlock our true potential. Exactly.
Mhm.
Thank you for that. That's exactly what we were discussing right now. You definitely have to invest to unlock the new version of you. So the first part of my program is really just self-exploring who you are and what do you truly want from life. What motivates you? What drives you? What do you enjoy? What do you love? What would you do for free? If someone said, Jenny, you have one more year to live, you could do anything in the world, what would you do? Would you travel the world and help children in Africa? Would you, like really dig deep into that inner
Mhm.
self of what do you want? The second part is really locking down, okay, I know what I want. Now, what's my personality like based on what I want? And then how do you connect that to the workforce? So,
Mhm.
a lot of our personalities are already where they need to be for a specific industry or field.
Mhm.
And that is when you find career fulfillment. So, for instance, for me, I'm a social personality type. So that means it's like I love to help people. I love to talk to people. I love to help people. So there's a lot of careers that align with my personality type. There's other people who
Mhm.
have a conventional personality type. That means they like things to be very organized, very structured, color coordinated, and there's jobs like that for them. But it's
Mhm.
really understanding who am I. So you take a lot of self inventory assessments to identify who you are, and then we go into a little bit of research as to what are the careers that align with your personality type, and then look at your options. What's important to you next? Is salary important to you? Flexibility important to you? What do you value?
Mhm.
We also take into consideration, what are your values, Jenny? We are driven by a value system, and people don't understand this. Everybody moves based on their values. So for me, if something goes against my values, I'm not taking that job. If you're going to
Mhm.
ask me to be cruel to people or to be cruel to animals, I'm not going and I'm not moving that direction. That's a value of mine. Now, the question is, does everybody understand their core values? Does everybody know what's important to them? So that's why in my program, we really start digging deep, like, what's important to me, because everything we do, our behaviors, our daily activities, our work that we do every single day is, again, directed well what we value in life. If you value money and wealth, guess what? You're going to be in a position where you're gonna be able to earn that, you're gonna be able to make that.
Mhm.
But people don't really connect the core values with the profession, and I did deep into that. So I call it Career with Purpose Academy, because your career is not based on, okay, let's go find you a job. It's no, let's go find you a job that aligns with who you are, what's important to you, your value system, and then we connect it to all these careers that align with you. Now, the third part of my program is a career action plan. The action plan will prepare you for that opportunity. Now we're digging deep into, okay, now you know who you are, what's important to you, what you value, your personality. Now you know your options, what kind of careers you could look into. Now, what's your plan? Who must you talk to?
Mhm.
What organization should you join? Should your resume, do you have your resume on check? Do you have your cover letter? Do you have that mentor? So now we're thinking about what's the next steps. I feel that the moment that I started seeing clients actually obtain new opportunities, and based on what we had went over on my last cohort, it was really amazing to see people transition into a better and more fulfilling career, because now they were clear on what they wanted and they were out there getting it. So it's really just about exploring who you really are as a person, and what's important to you.
Yeah, that's so huge. There's several comments on here. But yeah, no, I really appreciate you sharing that, because I feel like there is kind of that need to know exactly like, okay, so how do I go about this, right? And like if I were to essentially seek this type of service, Patty can do this for you, right? And like this is kind of essentially the journey that you would go under to get there, right? So I think that's really, really key. And essentially for you too, how do you find kind of this like again your purpose to know I want to do this and I want to give back and I want to be there and guide folks through their career paths and their purpose behind their careers, essentially. Because I feel like a lot of us tend to have this approach of like, we want to give back, we want to do all awesome things, but like, how do you even start, right? So then you start going through this like rabbit hole of like, how do I even start, where do I go, how do I navigate this? And so for you, how was it so clear in a sense to know it is going to be career coaching instead of, for example, like life coaching or other kinds of coaching? Like, how was that for you, and like, how did you know that was your avenue?
You start discovering what you're meant to do and what really resonates with your soul and your heart when you
Yeah.
stop focusing on the money and you start focusing on what's going to make me happy. Because I'm a firm believer, if you start just following on what you really enjoy, the money will come.
Mm-hmm.
The money will always, there's always opportunities to make money. um I feel like the way that I express myself about my passion with career coaching, people are so happy to be like, I want to get a contract with you, work with my students now, because
Yeah.
it's transparent, right?
Mm-hmm.
My passion behind what I do is so transparent. It's easy for me for schools to contract me. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if I would have tried to do, and this is the true story, when I started my consulting business, I started hearing about all these different opportunities of me to make money as a diversity inclusion coach. And I'm like, oh, I'm a social work major. I could do that. I'm passionate about making an inclusion workforce. But I knew nothing about corporate. I knew nothing
Mm-hmm.
about that work culture, and I didn't have no connection to it. So
Mm-hmm.
I never was motivated to continue working in that field. And I put my business on hold for months. Like, I work on it and then I put it on hold. I wasn't motivated. So I feel like if you're looking into making a difference, whether it's in any industry or different or serving other people, I would say start with what you know and start with what's important to you. If
Mm-hmm.
you go for what's important to you, when things hit the fan, you're not going to quit. You're going to just try to find different ways because it's important to you. Everybody has a skill set. I was just talking to a friend earlier. I don't know if he's still on right now, but he helps people get LLCs. And he was talking about crypto and he was talking about this. And I'm like, what is it? What is he talking about? Right. But I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I will pay money to hear him talk about crypto if he created a workshop about it. So there's a way for you to monetize your passion and really give back to people and really charge a fee for what you know, because people pay for this, people pay for your knowledge. So people
Mm-hmm.
pay me for my knowledge on finding career clarity, and now everybody here also has a passion. They have something that they're good at and they could monetize.
Mm-hmm.
People will pay for that. So start with what you know and what you care about, and then just kind of let your business or whatever you're trying to do flourish with time, and you'll find out where you need to settle down. I knew career coaching was for me because it just lit me up like a little firecracker. Every time I talk about it, I'm like, my energy never changes. So think about when do you not change? What energy do you give for a specific topic?
Mm-hmm. No, I agree 100%. I felt like for me too, I feel like I found my true passion as a professional. I work in higher ed. And so really being able to, I essentially also mentor students. I work in admissions, so I mentor students, I recruit them to the university, I guide them through the process. And I feel like it really speaks to me because I felt like I did not have that support when I was going through college, right? So essentially, I really feel like I do have a sense of passion and also kind of like it's somewhat like my calling in a sense. And I always say this, it's so weird, but I feel like there's a reason why I'm doing this, and I feel like there's a bigger purpose. So I think when people truly find what that may be for them, honestly, you can work without having to get paid, and it's honestly something that's so rewarding to do. So I feel like folks should not limit themselves thinking that, I'm only going to be working here because I'm so comfortable and because I don't want to be pushed out of my comfort zone, because this is essentially where I'm working right now. And I just don't want to kind of move the waters here and there. I'm just going to kind of hang tight, like I feel like for those folks, what kind of advice would you give them to essentially not feel like they're not good enough, or that they don't want to push forward to find essentially what their true calling is or what their purpose is in life, because they want to just be in their comfort zone. Like, what would be kind of that advice for those folks?
Do you want to live an average life? Do you
Mm-hmm.
want to live a basic life? Do you answer that? Do you really just want to work your 9 to 5 in a place that you don't enjoy and you don't love? Or do you
Mm-hmm.
want to die in your bed and say, "Man, I did everything I wanted to do"? Just do
Mm-hmm.
how what kind of life do you want?
Mm-hmm.
Really think about that and process that question, because I thought about it. I didn't think I was good enough at first. I'm like, who am I to teach people this? It's my first year. I just graduated. I don't have enough experience. But you know what I learned, Jenny? The experience comes with time. I remember
Mm-hmm.
when my counselor gave me the college professor job, and I'm like, what? How am I going to be a college professor? I just graduated 9 months ago. No way I'm going to be able to teach this class. And she's like, yes, you can. We got the students review sheets, and I was probably the top. I was the top professor because I was scored the highest from all the other professors, because my passion was there, my work ethic was there, and then I
Mm-hmm.
gained experience. So my advice to you, for those of you don't think you're good enough, you don't have enough experience, you don't have
Mm-hmm.
that mindset yet, then start investing in your mindset. Start
Mm-hmm.
showing up to places where people are doing what you want to do, so you could become motivated. Be
Mm-hmm.
part of those circles. I joined a lot of women organizations. I became a leader for some boards, and it was mind shifting. Once you surround yourself with people that think like you, or that are already doing what you want to do, you get more motivated. So start
Mm-hmm.
asking yourself, okay, I know I want more for myself, but what kind of people should I surround myself with that I can learn from, and kind of really just guide me to the right pathway. Until you do that, I don't think you're going to move anywhere. You really have to start moving different to get different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for you, what's been kind of your ongoing motivation to keep your business going? I mean, I know that you are huge and giving back, and you have that social kind of just eager to want to kind of socialize and kind of be there for people, and that social work lens as well. But essentially, what's been kind of that motivating factor for you that keeps you going in doing this type of work?
My motivating factor is that I'm providing and I'm unlocking pathways for people that
Mm-hmm.
I wish I knew when I was younger. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to people and I'm saying, hey, you could become a probation counselor with just 60 units, 2 years in college. What? I could do that. So I'm providing and unlocking doors for them. And that motivates me, because I'm driven by human success. So I
Mm-hmm.
love being part of people's journey, providing and unlocking doors for them. So what motivates me is really just providing opportunity and making a difference in someone's life. I think I don't focus so much on, the income. I mean, obviously I am money driven because I move in different ways where I can make more, but that's not my sole purpose. My sole purpose is bringing value to my clients, or bringing value to
Mm-hmm.
my organization that I'm working with. And then the money flows as it comes, because of I'm focusing on the client and the person versus the actual my own benefit.
Right. And that's so huge. And I think, again, you're talking about really just having that huge purpose, and not necessarily being driven by just the monetizing side of things, right? You really are in it because you really care about these people and their essentially their success, right? So I think that's huge, and that speaks a lot to your ethics, right? And so definitely, folks, I mean, I feel like when you're wanting to find services and coaching, um, wherever it may be, right? I think that you really need to also do your research and figure out, like, is this someone that I feel like I want to give my time to, my money to, and that actually is going to give me the benefit of, the fact that they're going to put you as a priority essentially, and give you all that they can to guide you through their process, right? I feel like that's huge to essentially know, like, what is in it for me if I'm going for Paty instead of someone else, right? And the fact that
Exactly.
you are so on board with you you're making your clients a priority, and their success is important to you, of course. And so seeing all that, I think, is huge for people to know, like, Paty provides this, you know, and she's not really in it for just the money side of it, right? Like I think that speaks a lot.
There's so many, Jenny, there's so many opportunities for people to monetize their passion. But
Mm-hmm.
I think what's really important in this conversation is really understanding that you can monetize exactly what you want to do and your skill set, but it's just taking action and really just putting it into play. In the beginning, I had no idea how I was going to monetize my skill set, but I was willing to do my homework, have that coaching, invest in programs, and learn of the business side of it. I was trained to just get my master's degree and get a good paying job. That's the mentality that was given to me since I was 5 years old. Go to college, you need to go to college. And that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what I did, but it wasn't fulfilling to me. So if
Mm-hmm.
someone is on here who is wanting more, wanting to do a career advancement or a career shift or a business shift, you know, even if you're not my client, it doesn't hurt to reach out and say, hey, I have questions about what you do. Can we
Mm-hmm.
connect? There's many people out there who are open to guide you and let you shadow them and give you great advice. If you need to reach out, you need to ask questions. That's key here. It's really wanting more, but doing your homework and reaching out to the people that inspire you and try to have a conversation with them so that you can learn from them.
Yeah, and what would be kind of like your advice for folks that possibly are a little bit like maybe skeptical or like intimidated about how do I even reach out if I were to want to know how you can work together and collaborate, but like are maybe scared to even ask like what are the fees or like how much is it going to be something that's within my budget? Like what would be kind of that advice for those folks that are still kind of maybe in that borderline?
Definitely. I think for people who are skeptical about reaching out or feel shy or intimidated, I
Mm-hmm.
would say get comfortable with reaching out to people because it's part of your success in business and your personal growth. You got to start somewhere. You have to be able to really just start thinking about how many people are out there open to give you advice, but you're sleeping on it because you're shy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, it's so easy for me to reach out to people. Hi, my name is Patty. Can we connect for like 15 minutes? I want to learn about A, B, and C. And there's many times that sometimes I don't get a response back, but I'm not gonna sit there and cry about it. I'm gonna say, okay, no problem, and then I'm gonna move on to the
Mm-hmm.
next target, my next target that I'm gonna go after. But realistically, it's definitely just getting out of your comfort zone and
Mm-hmm.
really start looking at relationships as a opportunity for you to grow professionally and personally.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my top mentors, meaning like they gave me so much game, so much opportunities, and so much knowledge. A lot of that came from me reaching out to them via LinkedIn. Hi, I'm
Mm-hmm.
Patty. I see what you do. I'm really interested in what you do. And so, really just investing in and reaching out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that was key. Like, I think we kind of did it that way too. I mean, honestly, you really just don't know what a lot of these things can actually lead to. I mean, you're able to connect with other folks that have similar ideas, similar interests, and I think at the end of the day, you know, we're all here to help each other out, and why not support each other and just kind of create this huge community that if people now with this life in hopes of people knowing like okay Patty, I can go to her for career coaching and now she's a Latina and I'm a Latina, so if I'm interested, like why not support each other? You're gonna help me, I'm gonna help you. And so you know it's like kind of this back and forth of like knowing there are people out there that are doing a lot of amazing things, and so why not help each other out in this regard. And this just goes again with so many other avenues as well, but I think that at the end of the day it's important to know that these are services that folks can obtain, and you get so much out of it, you know. So don't be afraid. No piensen que porque no podemos pedir ayuda or like how do we even start, or like by asking for guidance it doesn't mean that you lack intelligence or that you're not essentially kind of aware, you know. I feel like at the end of the day it's more support and help and guidance doesn't hurt, you know. At the end of the day it makes you a lot more knowledgeable of how to navigate things. So at the end of the day folks, we all need to come together and kind of definitely tap these doors that are willing to provide a lot of just knowledge and information and services to help all of us succeed at the end of the day.
Exactly. I do have one statement that I think is important to really look into as well. I have a lot of people, a lot of friends, specifically colleagues or people who I'm close to who are overwhelmed with natural talents. I'm talking about very talented in the makeup industry, very talented in the hair industry, very talented in their knowledge about the environment. And sometimes people sleep on their talents because of how long the journey will take to really get to
Mm-hmm.
what they really want. And I want you to also reflect on, is the career that I want really what I want? And if it's the time frame that's stopping me, you want to reconsider exactly if that's a good reason on why you're putting that dream on hold. Because guess what, Jenny? Time's going to pass by anyways. And the next
Mm-hmm.
thing you know, you're going to still be working on Save Mart. And that dream that you could have started investing in little by little, year after year to get to that ultimate dream, that time's going to pass by anyways. Time doesn't stop for no one. So start
Mm-hmm.
thinking about your dream and your career choice as, what do I want? And even if it takes 7 years, 10 years, if that's truly what you want, head that direction. Your mindset and your direction may change with experience, and you realize, oh, maybe I want to go this way now because I found something else that I love. But the point is don't put your dreams on hold because of the time frame of what it will take for you to obtain it. Because anything, whether it's a business, a career, a college degree, anything that's worth obtaining will take some time. Things don't
Mm-hmm.
happen overnight. Things don't happen just, from 1 hour to another. You really got to be able to invest in that success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
Exactly.
Onyx Flower says there is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. Yeah, definitely. I agree 100%. I mean, you really don't have it easy, you know, you really do have to work for that. So you've said so many amazing things. So I thank you. Thank you so much for just giving all your insight and essentially for your consulting business. What's kind of your next goals? Do you have anything kind of that you're working on that you would want to share with folks to be kind of on the lookout?
Yeah, so right now, my brand is kind of shifting to a youth millennial organization and school trainer. So right now I'm doing a lot of one-to-one coaching and group coaching. But my brand, like my website and what I'm going to be representing, I really enjoy the spaces of classrooms and organizations that allow me to speak with a great maybe like 30 to 50 people at once. So I like
Mm-hmm.
working with people as a whole and in person. So my brand may be shifting a little bit, but I definitely still will provide that one-to-one coaching. So my website will have that information where if you're interested in coaching, I'll still have that. But my brand itself is kind of gearing more towards a youth trainer or youth professional, really helping them navigate the workforce because I find great joy working with high school students and middle school students.
Oh, that's awesome. And I feel like they definitely also kind of need that guidance as well, not just like depending on their teachers or the counselors, right? I think it doesn't hurt to have more folks like yourself that can come in and give them a little bit more of insight on different avenues or pathways that they can go through and think about, right? In the future, once they're ready to kind of make those calls and know, okay, Paty shared this information with me back then. And so I should really consider this possibly, you know? So I think it's definitely going to be something that a lot of students definitely are going to benefit from, right?
For sure, exactly.
Yeah. So we're almost to the end of our live, but I always love to incorporate like a really fun way to get to know the guests. So we are going to play a game called Fill in the Blank. So before we finish up, I know that a lot of folks would love to know you in a fun way. So why don't we just kind of dive into this and then we'll share towards the end too before we finish our live, like where people can find you. I'll add your info on here, your Instagram handle, but also we'll share that as well for folks to know like where to find you and how to contact you. All right, so here we go. So what's Patty's favorite music to dance to? As a Latina, what would be kind of that?
You know what's funny? When I think about favorite music, I think about Bay Area Too Short. Something
Really?
about something about that man that it
Okay.
just gets me in a different mood. So I like Too Short.
Nice, nice, nice. I like that. Okay, and what would be kind of your favorite? You know, all of our Latina moms have like a favorite, like some sort of phrase that they use, you know? So like what would be kind of that favorite phrase that your mom told you growing up that you're like, "Oh my God, I can't forget this."
My mom's favorite phrase, to be honest with you, she doesn't have a favorite phrase, but what she's always told me, and I take it with me till I'm almost gonna take it to me to my children one day, is that always depend on yourself for your success and for your well-being. So
Mm,
she really raised me to be independent and not really rely on anybody to pay my bills or to do anything for me. She always had like a strict set mindset that, hey,
mm-hmm.
you are capable of taking care of your own things and you're going to be doing that. So I think that's a phrase that she tends to do now, and now that's exactly how I live my life. I do everything on my own, and anybody that comes my way is just adding value.
Wow. That's powerful. That's so awesome. Your mom was really smart for
Your
passing that
mom was a
along.
smart one.
Yeah.
Hi, Denise.
Um, okay, and what would Patty love in regards to like your favorite drink? It can be non-alcoholic or alcoholic, whatever. What's kind of your go-to?
Lately I've been into palomas. I like palomas.
Palomas,
They're very
nice.
refreshing. Red wine is good too.
Yeah.
Um, Red wine, palomas, and then also I love horchata.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that one's bomb.
Yeah.
Nice. And this last one, what's kind of your go-to for like series or like watching on TV? What's kind of your go-to for that? Do you go for like, did you grow up watching novelas or like was that kind of not
When I
the?
was growing up, I was really into Rebelde. I don't know if you
Oh
ever watched,
yes.
or Clase 300, something like that. Class of 316. All
Yeah.
those 3 p.m. novenas were my stuff after school.
Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, I remember those. Well, awesome, Patty. Thank you so, so much. Before we close off, what would be kind of that just general advice that you would give to our Latinx community and those folks in general that are trying to still find their career path, and how to best navigate that? Like, what would that advice be for those folks on your end?
The best advice that I could give to someone who's trying to get clarity in their career path is, it may be very simple, but it really is something that I live by and I preach it very often, is that really focus on what you like, and then that would lead to things that you love.
Mm-hmm.
So focus on what drives you, what motivates you, what really lights a different spark in you. If you're into blueprints, right, and you are really good at it, and you could work on them all day and you enjoy it, then focus in areas that allows you to do what you enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you focus on career paths that you like, it's gonna open doors that you love. So really that's probably my best to go to advice that's quick and easy, but it makes a lot of sense because that's how I moved. Growing up, I focus on, I think I like to help people. And the next thing you know, here I am helping people and it opened many doors. So really think about what you enjoy and then putting it into play.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's awesome. Thank you so,
Hi,
so much for
Chema. Hi,
sharing all that.
Melody. That's my niece and one of my good friends.
Oh, your friends. Yeah, well, thank you so much. So, where can people find you if they were to be interested in collaborating with you and possibly just also knowing like what kinds of services you offer and reaching out to you? How can they go about finding you?
Yes. So I can be found in my Instagram, Latinx Career Coach, and then my website, www.patyvillegas.com, which is in my bio on my Instagram. You could definitely DM me. I'm always active on Instagram. and you could reach out to me and I could just either provide you just a quick 20-minute consultation for free, and then see how I could help you if my services are for you. If not, then I could be more than happy to transfer you to a different resource. But I do see a comment. Someone's bringing up Japan. I went Japan. I went to Japan for a little bit. Tell us what you gained from Japan. If that's okay with you, Jenny, I'd like to answer
Yeah,
that
yeah,
question.
yeah, please.
What I gained from Japan is that we are living in a small bubble, and
Mm-hmm.
the world is so beautiful, and
Yeah.
allow yourself to explore it, because Japan taught me that there's a whole different world. The way people move, dress, eat, talk is so beautiful to be in a different environment, and I gained the beauty of cultural competency and really
Mm-hmm.
investing time and energy with people that are different from me was just amazing. So I gained from Japan was knowledge, cultural knowledge on
Mm-hmm.
how different another country can be compared to my own roots, and how beautiful it can be even though it's so different.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. When did you go?
I went 2 years ago.
Ah, okay. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's definitely one of the destinations that I want to visit at one point. But yeah, well, thank you so much, Paty. Thank you so much for your time. Guys, go follow her. She's amazing. She has so much to offer. And like how you guys have noticed, I mean, she's really passionate about the work she does. So definitely give her a holler, reach out, contact her. And thank you all so much for the love and support for connecting with us today. And again, there is a purpose behind careers. So definitely tap into what's kind of your avenue and do that self reflecting exercise and reach out to Paty. She's willing to help. But really, thank you so much for your time, Paty.
Of course. Thank you, Jenny. And then we will stay in touch. Bye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.